Okay, well you can see that that's Europe, right? You can see that, well, if you can, there's a yellow sort of dot, radioactive dot, up there at Chernobyl. And what I want you to see is the very dark pink areas which are surrounding Chernobyl from the fallout are really areas where no one can live. They're so radioactive. The lighter pink are a little less so. The orange is still quite radioactive. You can see in Sweden, for instance, and is that Norway?
Yes.
I'm not very good. Anyway, Norway and Sweden got a really high level of radiation, and in fact the Chernobyl meltdown was first detected in Sweden, and Gorbachev denied it for 10 days. Austria and the like got a lot of radiation. It came down in specific hotspots when it rained. In England, in certain parts, the lands have so much cesium-137 in them, they can't be sold on the open market. Food in Turkey is extremely radioactive. Don't buy any Turkish food. I'm serious. The herbs are very radioactive. Now, a nuclear power plant uses 1 million gallons of water a minute to keep it cool, circulating all the time from the river or the lake. Now, with global warming, the rivers are falling. They're getting hotter, particularly in France 2 years ago, so they couldn't get enough water to cool the reactors in France. They had to shut many of them down. Other reactors are built on the coast, on the oceans, but guess what? The oceans are rising. And as the oceans rise and catastrophic storms occur, so water will flood the control mechanisms of the reactors and they will melt down. So global warming is antithetical to the safe running of nuclear power. Yet, the nuclear industry says, don't worry, this is the answer. By the way, we'll take all the money you've got and build the reactors. There'll be no money to put solar panels on every roof, solar hot water systems, electric cars, wind farms all over the world, geothermal energy, and efficiency. Shame. Yeah. So water is essential, and it uses so much on a drying, globally warming planet, it's ridiculous. Now I just want to walk you through some of the elements that are made in a reactor. Radioactive iodine goes to which gland in the body? Thyroid gland. It's got a half-life of 8 days, so it's around for about 6 weeks. When 3 Mile Island melted down, the milk that Hershey's chocolate used, the Hershey's chocolates is 13 miles from 3 Mile Island. The milk was so full of radioactive iodine, they powdered it for 6 weeks till the iodine went away, and then they made the chocolates. But other stuff got out, like strontium-90, that lasts for 600 years, and that goes to bone because it's a calcium analog, causing bone cancer or leukemia. This causes thyroid cancer. These are all beta and gamma emitters. Cesium-137, which is all over Europe, particularly in the reindeer, the lichen, the lambs in England, all over the place. It lasts 600 years. It's a potassium analog, so it goes to the brain where it can cause brain tumours and muscles, and it causes rare muscle cancers called rhabdomyosarcomas and other such things. Last but not least is plutonium. This is an alpha emitter, said to be one of the most dangerous materials ever made, and it is dangerous. Less than 10 to the minus 6 grams is carcinogenic. Hypothetically, if you could take a couple of kilograms and put that in every person's lung on Earth, that's a carcinogenic dose for every human being. Each reactor makes 250 kilos of plutonium a year, and it has a very nice property in that only 5 kilos is critical mass, and that's all you need to make yourself a nuclear weapon. So any country that develops a nuclear power plant, like Syria, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, all over the world, they're pushing nuclear power, has a bomb factory. Dr. Doolittle push me, pull you situation, it's ridiculous. Any child would say, but you can't give them nuclear power plants because they'll make bombs. Why shouldn't they have bombs? It's ultimate power. Plutonium is so toxic. It causes lung cancer, it causes liver cancer, it causes bone cancer and leukemia because it goes to bone, because it's an iron analogue, and it's transported like iron throughout the body and laid down in the bone where hemoglobin is made, in the liver where hemoglobin is broken down, in the lung. It also crosses the placenta. Nothing gets past the placenta to damage the fetus except plutonium does, because the body thinks it's iron. gets into the developing embryo where it can kill a cell that's going to form the right arm. Remember thalidomide, the drug that pregnant women took years ago to stop morning sickness and their babies were born with no arms? Well, that's called teratogenesis, a normal, genetically, chromosomally normal fetus where some plutonium or thalidomide gets in, kills a cell that's going to form the right side of the brain, or the left arm, or the like. And it also tends to concentrate in testicles next to the seminiferous tubules where the spermatogonia form, the precursors of sperm, and it can irradiate the sperm, producing genetic abnormalities which are passed on generation to generation. But while the plutonium, which has a half-life of 24,400 years and lasts for 500,000 years, lives on if the man's cremated, so someone else can breathe in the plutonium. So you see an exponential increase in genetic disease just simply caused by plutonium. Plutonium lives on to get to another man, another man, another man. Genetic abnormalities get passed on generation to generation. Now this is what the nuclear industry don't understand. This is what the politicians negotiating here don't understand. They do not understand mutation. And this is the very essence of life. And if you don't understand mutation, you have no idea what you're doing. And the politicians tend to be pushed around by uranium miners, by the coal industry, and it's all about money. But when I have a patient in the intensive care unit with cystic fibrosis, I don't talk about money and how much the drugs cost and whether I should be paid more, because I'm committed to saving life. And that's what we must do. How dare we fill up the environment with radioactive elements? Now, at the moment, there's a huge amount of radioactive waste. France is tipping a lot of it into the ocean. It's sending it over to Russia. England doesn't know what to do with its radioactive waste. Sweden's digging a big hole in granite to put it there, but of course granite has cracks. You put it into a concrete container, a metal container, the concrete cracks, the metal rusts, and you've got to store it safely for at least 250,000 to 500,000 years. How dare we say we can store radioactive? We'll all be dead soon, very soon. And we leave this a legacy to future generations. So you can imagine the radioactive waste leaking into water, bioconcentrating by orders of magnitude in the algae, the crustaceans, the little fish, the big fish, like in the North Sea. In Sweden, a lot of radiation from plants gets up to Scandinavia, and you can't taste it. You can't say, I can taste the strontium-90 in this fish, because our senses didn't evolve to detect radioactive elements. And also it bioconcentrates in grass and milk. So you can imagine our descendants waking up, their breast milk already radioactive, the babies already being born deformed, children getting cancer at the age of 6 because they're so sensitive rather than 60 now, epidemics of genetic disease and deformed babies forevermore. And that's what nuclear power means. One last thing. America and Russia own 98% or 97% of the nuclear weapons in the world. There are about 28,000. They have thousands still pointed at each other, and we never talk about it. They could be launched by accident or design. On 9/11, they got to almost pressing the button because no one knew what happened. So as more and more countries get nuclear weapons, unstable regimes, so that could trigger by accident a nuclear exchange between Russia and America, and as all the cities in the world which are targeted burn, a huge cloud of toxic black smoke rises up into the stratosphere, blocking out the sun for up to 10 years, causing nuclear winter, a short ice age, and the end of life on Earth. So what we're doing is balancing global warming, which is catastrophic, with possible nuclear winter. This can't be more important than what I'm talking about. This is imperative, that we end nuclear power, we abolish nuclear weapons, and we can easily fix global warming. In fact, here's the prescription for survival. It's called Carbon-Free, Nuclear-Free, a wonderful study. By 2050, America and Canada and Europe can have all the energy it needs without any carbon and any nuclear. It's been used by Nancy Pelosi, by the state of Texas, by the state of Utah. Here's the answer. Thank you.